Wild cards. Besides spending cash on gems, by far the most important tool in any Magic Arena player's arsenal for building and improving decks. But is it still possible to do well without them? In this series, I start out with a brand new Arena account and work my way from Bronze all the way to top 250 Mythic while only building decks with cards I crack from packs. This is Sealed Only Arena. Episode 3, and with it the release of Wilds of Eldraine, meaning 9 packs of Eldraine, and also a renewal gift. See what we get: some alchemy cards, a Restless Fortress, a very good man land, Bramble Familiar, popular in a combo deck, Redcap Gutter Dweller, pretty decent creature, Questing Druid, another very good card, but in a very specific deck that's going to be hard to build out of packs, and Ariette for a white-black Auras deck. 3 free packs plus 6 packs from our pre-release code means we have 9 packs of Wilds of Eldraine to open. Nice new pack opening animation means I can record it all in one sitting as opposed to speeding it all up after, so let's see what we get. How beautiful is that? Wild card. Virtue of Strength. I'm not that big of a fan of this Virtue. I just think having that effect is good, but for 7 mana it's probably going to be too much for us to make any good use of it. Beseech the Mirror. Oh, what a good card. Mana value 4 or less for casting. I assume it makes it in our deck, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Agatha's Soul Cauldron, another really amazing card, but combo decks is just going to be really hard for us to ever pull off in this series, but I guess we'll see. Ingenious Prodigy could be decent for like a prowess type deck. We could play it in our deck. I mean, it is long-lasting card draw. In the late game it's pretty good. It's another early play, so I think we could play this. Elvish Archivist, great for an artifacts or enchantments deck. I mean, another fantastic card, kind of more in line with Questing Druid. Archon of the Wild Rose. Between this and Ariette, we could have a decent rolls-based deck. Food Fight, definitely not going to see any play. And we've got Gumdrop Poisoner, pretty great black card in Limited. I don't know if it's good enough to see play in our deck. We are short on 3 drops, but I don't know if it's good enough. We'll see. Any notable uncommons? Got Ariette's Apple, not fantastic. Totentons for Rats, Sir Armand. Embereth Veteran I think could be good for a red aggressive deck. Hearth Elemental for the prowess type deck. Tanglespan Lookout's pretty good. Torch the Towers, decent red removal. So are Firebolts. Shatter the Oath is too expensive for us to play. Sleight of Hand is good for a blue base deck. Quick Study's a better Divination. Fell Horseman, not good enough, but I guess in a pinch we could play it. Aquatic Alchemist and another Sleight of Hand could be good for a blue-red spells based deck. I might want to try that out at some point. Okay. We definitely got some good cards here. I can definitely see us playing Beseech the Mirror and Prodigy. Maybe the Gumdrop Poisoner. I think we'll have to try it out, but I'm not sure if it'll make the cut. This does give us other deck options in the future with aura-based stuff, and then also like makes red-blue spells a lot better. So we'll have to see about those. We also have 5 jump-in tokens, which we can use to enter the jump-in event with the new Wilds of Eldraine themed packs, and see if we can get anything good out of those. Alright, all 3 of our first packs are non-Wilds of Eldraine. Between these featured cards, I think we'll try the blue packet. Our main deck right now is blue-black, which I'm definitely not set on, but I definitely wouldn't mind getting better blue-black cards. We'll try Science and Cutthroat, see if we get anything decent here. And of course, we'll play each pack to 1 win to get the individual card reward. Vat Emergence could be decent, pretty expensive. Same with the Fisher. Testament Bearer has been pretty good so far. Unctus could be decent in an artifacts deck. I think we might have another copy of Ron, but these aren't bad 2-drops. We're just not really an Aristocrats deck, but definitely could go in an Aristocrats deck at some point. Drown and Ichor's good removal. This seems like a pretty good common. Individual card reward number 1. See what we get. Change the equation. Probably not gonna see play. Alright, now we've got Jumpstart token number 2 out of 5. Ooh, that's what I meant to do. Okay, jump in number 2. We have Phyrexian, Virulent, or Muscle. I think we're going to try out Phyrexian. We have Invaders, Incubation, or Insight features Lord of the Ring cards, which is probably not what we want. So let's go ahead and try Phyrexian Incubation. See what cards we got. Gloomfang Mauler could potentially see play. I mean, it's probably too slow, but it's not a terrible. Etchtoth Doombringer is, but I don't think good enough for Constructed. We got another copy of Deadly Derision. We have Invasion of Eldraine. Bloated Processor. If we end up doing Phyrexian Tribal, this is probably a pretty good card. Another copy of Grafted Butcher is pretty good. So yeah. Okay, individual card reward 2. Probably nothing great. Ashnod's Harvester. Okay, I mean, filling out the playset. Let's see what we get with our 3rd pack. We've got Amass, Lord of the Ring, so probably not that one. Muscle, or Charmed. Well, we do have that Archon. So I think building a roll deck might be good to get some cards for that. So we'll probably go with Charmed, then we have Hungry, Soldiers, or Knight. I think it's between Soldiers or Hungry. I'm not sure how good Food is. Soldiers is at least a decent deck that we already have some cards for, so I think we'll go for that. We got a copy of Skystrike Officer, which is pretty important for any Soldier deck, and a copy of Spellbook Vendor, which is pretty important for any good roll deck. We got some good 2-drops. Hopeful Vigil, Cooped Up, all pretty good cards. Recruitment Officer is pretty good as well. Alright, pretty happy with that. Next up is Trawler Drake. Well, that's a blast from the past, and by the past I mean 2 episodes ago. Definitely not gonna see any play. But let's see what we get from our second to last packs. Okay, Amass is Lord of the Rings. Breakfast, also Lord of the Rings. So we're going with Resistance, Stoke the Flames, a very nice burn spell. Now we have Bittersweet, we have Humans, and we have Phyrexian. So I believe Phyrexian, which we've already picked, will give us another Grafted Butcher. That'll put us to 3 of those, increasing our deck's consistency with a very nice card. So I think we're going to go with Phyrexian Resistance, which is paradoxical, I guess. Oxymoronical. I mean, there was the Phyrexian Resistance of Urabrask, but still. So we already know the Phyrexian black cards. We've got the Mauler, we've got another copy of Shieldred. Wait, that was not there before. Oh, right. I forgot that these jump-in packs vary each time. So instead of our rare/mythic being another Grafted Butcher, we got a copy of Shieldred, which 5 mana, 4/5 menace. When it enters, opponent sacks. Then we can pay 5 to transform it into the True Scriptures if an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, which is removal, discard, and then recursion. So probably, almost definitely make it into our deck. Besides that, we've got Invasion of Olgrotha, probably not good enough. So yeah, that is the Phyrexian side. Now for the Resistance side, we've got Shatter the Source, Yeti, Greatsword, Scald, Stoke the Flames is a good card. We've got Voldaren Thrillseeker as our rare, which is backup 2. Then you can sack it and it basically flings itself, which I think on its own is probably good enough to make it into a mono red deck if we end up building that, but that requires a lot of consistency. Overall, I think we'll definitely take the Shieldred though. Alright, ICR number 4 will be Ash, Party Crash. I don't know if this is good enough for constructed play, even in Boros aggro, but I could see a Celebration deck popping up at some point, but I feel like it would be one of the decks where we would want 4 copies. So I just think like our strategy in general has to be to go for the more mid-range strategies. Okay, we've got Invaders, Apprentice, and Wild. So we're not going to go for Wild. Between Apprentice and Invaders, I think we'll try out Apprentice. And we can go with Tricky, Celebration, or Complete. I think we'll try out Tricky. Balmor is a pretty good card I'd be happy to get for Izzet spells. Alright, let's see what we get. Horned Lockwhale, not fantastic. Another Najal. Jaya, which seems fine. Not great unless you can get it to ultimate, but I mean, maybe the -2 is fine in an aggro deck, but this just seems like not enough for 4 mana, possibly. Mocking Sprite could be nice. Balmor, of course. To Inferno. Electrostatic Infantry will definitely get into a blue-red spells deck. Yeah, pretty happy with that. I think definitely in the next few episodes I'll want to try building both a blue-red spells deck and then also a white-blue soldiers deck, and we'll test those out. I don't think either of them will be better than our blue-black deck, but we'll try them out, of course. We got a second copy today of Change the Equation, which could be a sideboard card. I don't really know. I don't think so. And then our last actual individual card reward, Corvold and the Noble Thief. I can't imagine a deck where that makes the cut. So with that, those are all our card openings for the start of today, except for 1 pack we did get for a victory reward just from playing all the jump in, which will give us probably nothing in the commons or uncommon, and then of course a rare wild card, because it wouldn't be the series without opening a ton of wild cards. We have 5 mythic rare wild cards and 14 rare wild cards already. So I'll get into deck construction and be right back in a second with the current version of the deck. Alright, here's what our current list is looking like. You can see a few additions from Wilds of Eldraine, some very good ones in fact. I think we're adding a lot of extra flexibility. I'm really excited for what Beseech is going to be able to do. I think Prodigy can be pretty good, very flexible in the early game. We're at a 4-4 record right now with 3 more matches. I'd like to imagine we can win 2 out of 3, but I think realistically we're aiming just to win 1 again. I think at some point we might change the format to just highlights of a bunch of matches advancing to a certain level. For example, like doing a bunch of matches up until silver and then taking the highlights of those, etc. But again, comment down below what format out of live commentary, voiceover, or highlights you'd prefer. With that, let's get into the first of our 3 matches. Match 1, we're on the play. This is definitely a keep. Not interaction besides drawing something off quick study, but turn 2 play into a quick study is pretty nice. We'll start with Shores. Opponent starts off with the Zeator's Proving Ground. We are either facing Jund or we're facing some form of domain, 5-color, control, mid-range, ramp, something of the like. We'll play Butcher on turn 2 and pass again. Forest. Virtue of Persistence. Play a Swamp and hold up Quick Study. They play Topiary Stomper, so they're definitely on domain ramp. Much we can do about that right now. We'll play Quick Study on their end step, onto a Vortex and another Island. We will play a Swamp and Terror, and then next turn we could play Backwater and hopefully reanimate Butcher or hold up Interaction. If they play Invasion of Alara now, we might be in trouble. Up to Beanstalk, also very good card. Opponent plays 5th land and removes our Terror. Unfortunately, we keep drawing lands and have pretty much nothing we can do besides hold up Interaction. Looks like it's going to be Invasion of Zendikar. Okay, they're ramping more. This means Topiary Stomper will now be able to attack, so we might as well go for the throat. There's an argument for taking Vortex for the sake of mana efficiency and having a 2-mana answer for later. But, I mean, Vortex just answers more than Go for the Throat does, so I think we go for the Throat now. Let's hope we can draw something we can play. I mean, technically we can play the land, but it's not doing us much good here. I guess we're just looking to draw into Breach. Archangel of Wrath, fully kicked, flipping the battle. There's not much we can do about that. And the question is, do we remove the Archangel? I don't think we remove the Skyclave, or do we wait and hope they play, well, not hope they play Atraxa, but I think remove Atraxa when they inevitably play it. I think for now we'll just hold it up. Wow, another land. Alright, so this game is probably not going to go our way. Opponent attacks for 8. We go down to 13. They play the Virtue of Persistence, draw a card off Beanstalk. I think we probably need to get rid of the Archangel and then hope to draw like a Breach. That's our out. Or I guess Breach the Mirror, but that takes up another turn. Okay, Spell Dancer. That is technically not nothing, but it's not really something either. Opponent's really rubbing it in by Leyline Binding the Spell Dancer. Bindinging? No. By Leyline Binding the Spell Dancer. They bring back, presumably, the Topiary Stomper or the Terror of Tawashi's. Yeah, go with the Stomper. We take 5, going down to 8. And here's Atraxa. They get 5 cards back, including a removal spell, a board wipe, big creature, and more ramp. I don't think any card in our deck saves us here. We're just dead next turn. Unless now that they're tapped out. Well, they're not even tapped out. They have 2 mana up, presumably for a counterspell. Yeah, let's go to game 2. Okay, we definitely bring in 3 Disdainful Strokes, 2 Essence Scatters, 2 Duresses. I don't think we bring in Pithing Needle. We could bring in the Silex, but I mean that is a removal against Beanstalk. Then Phyrexian Arena gives us some card draw. That's a lot coming in though, so that means a lot going out. Drown and Ichor is definitely not very good. Spell Dancer could be interesting, but I really just think we're trying to keep our top end, even though we do need to go under them, but I don't think our little 2-1s are going to get us there. Can get rid of Deadly Derision, Pylon, and I think our last card's probably one of the Vortex. Try this. I think this is a really rough matchup for us, because we're too slow of a deck to go under them, but we're not slow enough to actually beat them, and their card quality is just so much better. Yeah, this is actually about as good as we could hope for. Turn 1 Sleeper. We play the Sleeper. Backwater tapped, gain a life, make Sleeper 2/2, swing for 2. This is great because now we can hold up our instant speed interaction, and then on their end step we can choose not to do it and pump Sleeper instead. And this will act as a mini Phyrexian Arena and draws cards if it lasts, but I believe they now have Leyline Binding for 2, so our Sleeper probably won't last much longer. We'll just swing for 2 here though. I think we prefer to Quick Study over making it a 3/3. Briefcase, we can't really interact with that. Another Proving Ground, we'll Quick Study. 2 lands there is actually pretty good. We'll go Backwater into Gix, and they're probably blocking with their Citizen, or they're letting us draw a card. Okay, we draw. This is actually going about as well as I could have hoped. Okay, well, there's a board wipe. I think we really can't do much else besides play Silex and pass. Play up the Beanstalk. Don't have any interaction for that, but we can blow it up on our turn, which is exactly what we wanted Silex to do. So now if we activate it for X = 2, we get rid of up the Beanstalk and their Incubator token / 3/3. We will play a Backwater. We will exile Beanstalk and token. We actually should have activated Silex before playing the land, because the land ETB gain a life trigger actually gave them a chance to Leyline Binding the Silex, because the Silex can only be activated at sorcery speed. Then we just pass. It might have been correct to be more proactive with our sideboarding and take out cards like Deadly Derision and keep in some of our smaller creatures, but I'm not really sure. Opponent plays land number 6. We are T-1 from Atraxa and Archangel of Wrath. I really want to save our Essence Scatter for Atraxa to prevent Atraxa's ETB, so we can just let it resolve, and then Black Sun's Twilight, getting back one of our creatures. We'll go down to 18. We can do X equals 4, keep up 2 mana for an Essence Scatter. Oh, but our creatures got exiled, didn't they? Because it was Sunfall. That's really unfortunate. In that case, it probably is better just to Deadly Derision. And I don't believe they have blue mana up right now, and they might actually not be playing much blue, but I think most versions of this deck run a few copies of Make Disappear. Okay, another Up the Beanstalk resolves. There's their blue mana. And we draw more interaction. Pass. Here's Atraxa. They get to draw a card. We're not letting it resolve. They could always have more than one copy, and for now we don't have another counterspell. There's another land. I feel like usually we're not drawing enough lands in this deck, but we've flooded both of these games. There's another Atraxa. We can't answer it, so they're going to get their trigger. I mean, we can kill Atraxa itself, but that doesn't really do us that much good. Ooh, so they're getting Leyline Binding, Murex, Briefcase, Invasion, a Duress, a Go for the Throat, and they're hitting, I think, every card type besides Planeswalker. So I think they're getting 8 hits here? 7? Yeah, they're getting 7. And now they can Duress us. Question is, how do we want to get rid of Atraxa? They're probably going to get rid of Twilight. So if I play one of these two, I can keep the other one. And I think I like keeping Vortex here better. So I'm expecting them to get rid of Twilight. But they might actually get rid of Vortex for mana efficiency. If we hit Breach right now, we might be able to win just by killing them faster. But they also do have at least one Leyline Binding. I think it's interesting. I think they chose a Duress over a Sunfall. But I guess we can't actually see right now. Nope. And there's a Herd Migration. And there's the Disdainful Stroke. Alright. We lost our first match. We're now 4-5 record. I don't really think we could have expected to do much better against that deck besides not flooding. I'm a bit disappointed we didn't draw really any of our expensive cards either game, but that might be a sign to lower our land count a bit. I think we're sitting at 26 or 27. 2 individual card rewards, another Disdainful Stroke, and a Twisted Fealty. We're at 25 lands. I don't think we need to lower them. Match number 2 against the Plane of Eldraine, and we are on the draw, presumably. This is a very nice opening hand. It would be even better on the play, but it's still good on the draw. Opponent is mono white aggro, so I think Ashnod's probably a better opener than Sleeper, just because it can immediately trade. Recruitment Officer, yeah, we'll trade. Then we can play Sleeper, turn it into a 2-2, but we definitely don't want to trade with Sleeper. Ooh, there's Adeline already. We'll take 2 and then keep the token. I think we really want to get rid of Adeline, so it's probably more worth it to Lagoon Breach it, and then we'll take another 2. So we'll play the island for blue mana. I think obviously having the tap lanes are awkward, but otherwise we just don't have... We would just have to play a monocolor deck. There's another Initiate. Perhaps having the Sleeper mana open will dissuade them from attacking with the Recruitment Officer. It does. Oh, but Hornlock Whale? Okay, it doesn't have to be tapped. So yeah, we'll just eat the token, get rid of Adeline. It would be very unfortunate if they have another Adeline, especially with double white this turn. We'll be able to tell whether they put it on the top or bottom. Put it on the bottom, so I would wager that they have another one in hand. Yep, so I think once again we're not going to activate Sleeper, and we'll just pile on before combat. Yep, here we go. And I think we get rid of both lands. Well, a 6-1 give us access to Lockwhale, but I don't know how much we want a land over a non-land. I think we get rid of both. That might have been a misplay. Okay, we take 4. Now we can make the Sleeper into a 3-3, but I think playing Prodigy is a 3-4, and then next turn we can double activate Sleeper. Maybe more worth it. I don't really love holding up Vortex, so I guess we can make this a 3-4 and then attack for 2. We probably should have waited to play this after combat because they could have an Elspeth Smite, and we could have... Well, we actually couldn't have pumped it enough in response, but I think they probably have Elspeth Smite or Iganjo. Here comes Ossification. She goes away. Take 4. Hitotsugu and Kairi. We could remove the Recruitment Officer because this starts becoming a valuable card now for them. We could steal it. I think I just like getting rid of it now. I don't think... We're not at a low enough life where we need to play a blocker now, but I think this is definitely our ideal play for next turn, what they have. They could, of course, just activate Mishra's Foundry, swing in for 4, we go to 8. There's another Adeline. I think we're stealing that, although it would only be a 1-4. That still blocks. We just can't let them make too many more tokens. And I suppose starting next turn we can attack with it and just buff its own power with the tokens. If they have their 4th Adeline, that's okay. Thalia, not terrible in this situation, especially because we have a 1-4 blocker. Yeah, they attack with all 3. Okay, we go down to 5. Probably a bit risky on our part. Yeah, we don't want them to have a removal spell. We're definitely getting hit for 2 next turn, and we block 2 things. I think Hornlock Whale is safer because of the ward. And we'll make a token, presumably just getting eaten by Thalia. There's Adeline number 4. Ugh. At least we have Go for the Throat, and they didn't attack. So, yeah, we can't do this and play Hitotsugu, but we just can't let them have tokens. So we have to kill Adeline. And I think that's all 4 copies of Adeline gone, right? 2 in the yard, we have 1. Oh, maybe that's only 3. Oh, this was the second one. Yeah. They can double block, so no point in attacking. Okay, there's another Mishra's Foundry. So next turn they can attack us with 5 creatures. They can make a 1/1, get 2 2/2s. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can block 2, so we'd be taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Playing 1 blocker, if they don't draw removal, keeps us alive. We could beseech into something, but we need to play a blocker this turn, so unless we're playing a 2/2, yeah, I think we brainstorm. We might get a 2-mana spell. Well, technically a 2-mana spell, but not right now. I don't think we played a land for a turn, though, because we just drew Beseech. So we could Swamp into Seed Shark or go for... I think I like Swamp into Seed Shark. We're going to put Beseech on top, just because flexibility, but we can always Beseech into a removal spell if we need. Okay, I'm feeling much more comfortable with our position. They could still top deck something bad, though. Land. They swing with both. Oh, they can... Okay. We might want Silex. We also... might want another Vortex in case we need to bounce something. And we could take the Essence Scatters to try to get rid of Adeline's on turn 3. What don't we want? Deadly Duration's a bit expensive, but we still want removal. Breaches almost win more in this matchup. I don't think it's that great, but it still gives our deck really good inevitability. I think we keep it. Maybe we don't, though. No, I don't think we do. I think we can cut Breach, and then probably 1 more Deadly Derision, and then we can cut a land and go down to 24 land. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think we're probably going to lose on the draw against this deck, but we'll try our best. I mean, we were on the draw last game, but I digress. No thank you. Yeah, we can keep this. Initiate, turn 1. Another Swamp. I guess we play Ashnod here. I don't actually care that much about the Initiate, right? We're definitely cutting down the Recruitment Officer, and then I'd be happy to trade Adeline for an Ashnod, but I don't think Initiate... Yeah, like they get a token that we can't block, we take 2, but man, more blue cards. They might just not attack with Adeline. They probably won't. Get 2/2. Yep, we take a bunch down to 11. I kind of deserve this. So one option is to get rid of the Foundry on their turn, and that slows them down mana-wise, but I think we need to play to win here and get rid of the Recruitment Officer first main phase so they don't have an option to activate it, and that gives us blue mana, so next turn we can play Prodigy X = 4, and that'll give us more cards and also a decent blocker, but I think it'll be too little too late, especially with the Foundry. Yeah. We're taking 6, and then we'd take 4, so we'd be at 1. There's an argument for Rona's Vortexing the Foundry just to hope to draw a blue source, but I think we have to take it. So I don't think we're necessarily dead. Yeah, we take 6 this turn. We can block the Foundry next turn, and that would be taking 4 more damage. But then we would obviously need more good draws. Yeah, I mean, we don't really have another choice. And I guess hope to draw an island or removal spell. We do get 2 draws. Oh, they have removal here. Okay, so that's game. All right, game 3 on the play. I think we have a chance here. I'm not going to say that we're going to win, but we have a chance. I think we're definitely still at the disadvantage, but if they don't draw a lot of Adelines, if we can use our removal well and survive until like turn 6, I think we probably win. This hand, it's really slow, but I don't think the average 6-card hand is necessarily better. We do gain life. We have 2 removal spells, one that we can use on turn 4, the next one we can get rid of a Recruitment Officer if they play that, or Hopeful Initiate, we can't get rid of it this turn, so we might as well play another tap land. Coppercoat Vanguard, okay, so we take 2. Question is, we could get rid of the Vanguard now. I think the Seed Shark is better as a blocker. They will probably remove it with Destroy Evil or Ossification. If they don't, then playing Twilight for 4, well, yeah. Okay, that's fine. So this turn, same logic. If we're holding up removal for Adeline, which is Rona's Vortex, there's an argument for just doing that, but I think I'd rather just play the blocker, and then we can remove it on our next turn, even though they'll get an attack trigger. They're stuck on 3 lands, but there's a Wedding Announcement. That's odd. Okay, we'll kill the Initiate. Why would they do that? Oh, I guess they want the card. Oh, they're trying to find a land. Okay. I still don't know if that was correct from them, but it makes sense, I guess. Do we attack and apply pressure, or do we... Yeah, I think we attack here. If only we had the Seed Shark in our graveyard instead of in exile. Another removal spell. Do we bounce Terror back to our hand? I think we do. Well, it's actually, we can't. Yeah, nothing we can do about that. I think we just get rid of the Vanguard. Hopefully draw something decent. They get a 1/1. More lands. Alright. I think we're definitely getting rid of the Mishra's Foundry. It puts them back on 3 lands. We want to do it now so they don't get the draw trick. It would have been nice if we had a creature engraved there. Okay, they have 2/2/2s. We're on a 4-turn clock. We can counter an Adeline. That turns it into a 3-turn clock, but I don't think that's worth countering. I hope they have another play here, otherwise you very mana inefficient. Okay. We cut down the Initiate. Down to 5 next turn. Another Wedding Announcement would also be terrible. Okay, well, we're not dead yet. I think there's an argument for them not attacking with everything, because then they get another token. I think I would only attack with 1 if I were them, but I guess getting a card for them is like equally, like they're going to win this match either way, almost certainly. More land. At least we get another blocker out of the Spirit, the Hermit, and they're just gonna play a bunch of creatures. So we might need Gix's Command, but okay, yeah, what can we draw here that keeps us? That's not it. Alright, well, 2 matches down, 2 matches lost. Both, I guess in some way, to Flood, but this match was definitely a lot closer. Match 3, on the play. Pretty slow, but I think we keep it. I think the best thing we could possibly get to improve this deck is, like, more Evolved Sleepers. I mean, obviously, besides Shieldred. Like, as much as I'd love to have Shieldred, I think we have good enough cards in our 4-drop slot, but with Standard having so many... I mean, turn 1 and 2 are just so important, particularly turn 2, that having another Evolved Sleeper or 2 or more cut down. There's Giada, Font of Hope. So they are on Angel Tribal. I guess we let them have 4 mana next turn, play Seed Shark as a blocker, and then we can pile on Metropolis Reformer. Okay. What do we want to get rid of? Do we even do it now? Do we probably wait until their turn so we can block something? Maybe. Yeah, I think we probably pass. Land number 4. I guess they could play a Kicked Arching. Liesa. That's definitely our pile-on target, but I presume we wait until they attack, or probably not attack. I don't actually... I guess they probably should have attacked, but I could have blocked and virtued, so maybe not attacking was the right play. I guess the bluff wasn't going to give them... Okay, give us lands. Neither of those are land. We want land. Island. Okay. Suppose we can just kill the Reformer and attack, but I think most things they could play are scarier than the Reformer. Oh, that's pretty cool. For each other creature you control with the same name. Why does this get +1? Wait, am I misreading this card? It's the first line. Each legendary creature you control gets... Okay, I guess that makes sense. So, presumably they attack here. Okay, now that they're both 3 power, yeah, I don't want them getting life. I think we'll block here, kill the Reformer. We could just swing for a ton on it. Yeah, I think that's probably the play. Seems pretty good to me. We could have even played the Butcher with our treasure and given everything Medicine +1/+1. But I think doing that next turn would give us a lethal attack, and I wanted to save our treasure because we might want double blue. Steel Seraph. Okay, they can give Flying, Vigilance, or Lifelink, so presumably Lifelink, and then they swing for 3, gain 3. But I think we can just bounce Giada here, and then play Butcher and win. I'm pretty sure that line works, right? This is a Phyrexian. Yeah, so it would be... They can't block because they would have Menace, so it'd be 3, and then 10, so 13. Yeah, I think that's Xyzes. And now we have Blot Out anyway, so it doesn't actually matter. But there's game 1. Okay, we're playing against We're on the draw. They have a lot of big things. Don't know how much I like Disdainful Stroke. I don't really... Well, I think Disdainful Stroke is probably correct. And Essence Scatter. And I liked Vortex. I don't know, though. I think Stroke might be too risky. Yeah, maybe it's not worth it. Drown and Ichor, I think especially with their pumps, -4/-4 might not get the job done. And then Ashnod, a lot of their creatures are flying, so I don't think a 1/1 Death Toucher is really going to do much here. I guess the same argument can be applied for Body Launderer, so maybe we do bring in 1 Stroke. I think we'll try this. There's also an argument for Silex again, but that just loses so much tempo. Ooh, this is an interesting hand. Against their deck, I guess we have turn 3 Blot Out. I think this was the right choice. I think this was a keep. Spelldancer, I've not been a fan of. There's been like 1 or 2 times where the unblockable is useful for Kaito or Gix, or where it gets to 4 counters and then I can like copy a Breach, but it's more of just a funny card that can do cool things sometimes, but overall it hasn't been great. There's an Inspiring Overseer. A very good limited card. Play our 3rd land. Don't feel a need or a want to blot out. I think we probably just play Quick Study, but it depends what they play. Opponent is thinking for a while. Do they not have a land drop? Ooh, Invasion of Dominaria. They gain 4 life and draw a card. I think they're digging for a land. Okay, they didn't find it, presumably. In that case, we could just blot out to protect the battle. But I really just like quick study here because I don't want to miss my land drops now. Okay, we now have a lot of removal. So we probably just attack and remove the Overseer so that they don't pop the invasion, but we could also just let them get it to 1. There's land number 4. Here's a Metropolis Reformer. Okay. Yeah, I think we play Deadly Derision. Ramps us. I think we're building up to line up Breach with the Spell Dancer. I mean, it only needs 2 oil counters, so we could copy something now. But I don't really know how much I like. I mean, Gix's Command is a very good card, but it would be copying it after combat, so it would just be putting 4 counters. Like maybe if we want more removal, but I think for now we can just attack and hold up, go for the throat, blot out, etc. Well, we can't blot out because they have hexproof, but we can like go for the throat first and then blot out something else. This is a very comfortable position to be in. We just really want 2 more lands, and that's probably, I think double Breach, if we don't deck ourselves, is game over. Sure, they get Steel Seraph, attack. Okay, we can go for the Throat the Reformer, and that will allow us to blot out on end step. And then we'll have the ability to copy 2 instants or sorceries, because we'll have 4 counters. So we might as well copy a Gix's Command and just get like a 6/5 unblockable. I'm really eating my words from when I said that, oh, Mercurial Spell Dancer, not that good of a card, hasn't been impressive. But, I mean, it's showing its worth. I don't even know if we... Oh, that's sad. And it's exiled. Oh, we can just Breach anyway. Forgot about the treasure. So I guess that turn we would have copied Breach. So they had well-timed rule, but we'll Breach it. And we'll get back, presumably an Angel, and hopefully something big. Seraph is probably the right choice. There's also Guardian of Gyropur as a biggie. Ooh, okay. This is interesting. So Shieldred is obviously very good, but we can do something fun, which is Guardian of Gyropur and Hidatsugu. No, I think even though we won't get the ETB sack on Shieldred, we can just flip it next turn. Very good. Opponent will kill Shieldred. We can bring it back with Gix's Command. Mirror Box. Prodigy is an option, but I think we can put counters, return to creatures. We'll get Hidatsugu, and then we can actually, we'll get Shieldred, and then we can get Terror, which can bring back everything else incrementally, but by then the game will almost certainly be over. Give it Vigilance. Opponent's down to 12. We're up to 28. Liaise. We can just play Shieldred to make them sack it. We'll go to combat. Give Seraph lifelink. Now it's 5 to 35. We could play Prodigy X equals 1, and that'll let us get in some damage pretty consistently. I guess they could have a board wipe, but then we have Terror. There's another Liesa, so I think we're just flipping Shieldred with Liesa and then going for lethal. Okay, match number 3. Gotta win against Angels, so that means we finished today 1 and 2. But I think both of the matches we lost weren't like getting demolished. I think against Humans we realistically could have won. Against Domain, I don't think we would have won, but Flooding definitely made it seem a lot worse than I think our deck normally plays out. So yeah, we're going to jump into the pack opening, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, leave feedback down below, and I'll see you in the next episode. I lost the audio for the pack opening, so here's a voiceover instead. Basically, as per usual, we spent all our gold on mythic packs for Dominaria United. We got a Shivan Devastator, no Shieldred, no Cut Down. We got one of the Rona's Vortex, but that was really the only other notable thing out of these. We also had about 13 packs of Eldraine, just from completing like daily quests and from like the anniversary rewards, etc. And then we had a few odd core set packs. Again, nothing too great here. We got like Questing Druid, Spiteful Hexmage, which are both decent cards, but for pretty narrow archetypes. At some point we could look at like a black-white Auras deck with rolls, but overall, considering how many packs we opened, fairly disappointing. But with that, I hope you enjoyed watching this episode. Somewhat disappointing result, but I think we had good games, and I will see you in the next episode, which we will start off with a Premier Draft.